Alright, man, so let's get to it because I've been bullshitting this past like a whole hour. Like, I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to make a video. My lighting is terrible and my phone is like from like 1987. My Wi-Fi is like super cheap and it goes in and out. But those are petty things, you know. It could be 10 times worse. But there's just some things I want to get off my chest. You guys ever feel like screaming at the top of your lungs because you feel like nobody can hear you? Well, I don't know. There's a few things I want to touch base with. I'm making this video for two reasons. Okay, one reason. I like my own. I like that. I like that. There's no telling, you know, if we're gonna be here tomorrow or not. You know, death happens a lot, and right now the world, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of negative energy. You know, there's a lot of manic energy. Because I'm definitely feeling it. I don't know if anyone else is feeling it, but this stuff is real. It's no joke. It's, you know, it's real life shit. And me being an empath, you know, and a very spiritual person. God dang. A very, sorry. A very spiritual person. I literally feel every bit of emotion, and I deal with all kinds of different spirits and stuff like that. So, on top of my own, you know, my own multi self. So it gets a little stressful, but you know, I wanted to touch base on, because I sense that there's a lot of pain out there. There's like a lot of pain. A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are suicidal. A lot of people are depressed. A lot of people are manic. A lot of people have mental disorders. They're not disorders. They're just, it's, you know, it's a conditioned mind. You're always trying to make sure you're doing things right, so your brain gets trained into going into autopilot, and you don't even know what the hell you're doing or where you're going or how it's supposed to be done, but you perceive it from, you know, an outlook, for an outpost for someone else, you know, how they're doing it, but that's not how these laws are what's fucking people up, you know. And and just the way the world works, it's just it's messed up. There's so much dirty, evil things going on, and it's sad because intention creates that, you know. If you don't have good intentions with someone, then that's when things go left. And I'm just frustrated because I am a firm believer in loving, like love. Like, I have this, it's written in my DNA to love, always to love, regardless of the situation. You know, and when I see people walking out of other people's lives just like this, especially, I'm mostly talking about family, but friendships too. And it's like, you were born into this family and you expected to have a good relationship with them, and you want to so badly bond, and that bond isn't there. The disconnection is just so intense that there's nothing you can do to save it. So it's, you know, abandonment issues are crucial at this point right now, and I feel like people are too focused on the wrong things. Nobody's really focusing on unity, to unite. I think they're doing that now virtually. Everything is like digital. So I'm learning how to I want to start a YouTube channel. I've been writing for a long time, and writing a book, but I also channel. I have a very strong connection with God. I'm obsessed with having to know who I am, what I'm made of, what, you know, this has to be more to life than just going to work 9 to 5 every day and being slaves. There's just so much more, and it needs to be talked about, and I want to talk about it. I'm an intellectual, and that's how I get off. So I've been depriving myself of that because I'm always too worried about what other people are going to think. And then, you know, the trickery part, the ego telling you, it's fine, you're not, the ego really messes you up. But the ego is the entity that was created by when you first came onto this earth and taught all of those characteristics around people that you were surrounded by. So you know how that goes. But I wanted to read some stuff and see if anyone else feels me on this, because shit is pretty deep. I'm just tired of being quiet. I'm quiet a lot, and I want to speak my truth. I don't find anything wrong with that. Everybody has their truths. Everybody has their their own story, and I feel like everybody's story is beautiful. Everybody has traumas, no matter what the level of the traumas are. Everybody is, human. We all are human. We all have dysfunctions, okay? But communication and expressing those dysfunctions and accepting them and embracing them for what they are and accepting them to being our own is what's really important. Because it's not right that people have to feel isolated and, like I have a mental illness and all this, okay? But they can diagnose me with bipolar, PTSD, borderline personality disorder, all that stuff. They can put a label on whatever the hell they want, but at the end of the day, they weren't raised the same way I was. Their Wi-Fi is in a whole nother dimension. So it's not fair that judging is even a thing. But I don't know. But it's my world and in my bubble of universal laws, which are still being discussed and discovered every single day, because people swear they know. It's just funny to me, these laws that we have to live by. Like, who made these laws? You're a human being. I'm a human being. I have like different gifts and different creative thinking, and my logic is different. Well, who am I to tell you how to live your life? I mean, I understand there has to be some kind of conformity and some kind of structure. I understand that, but not to the point where they're manipulating people and stealing people's monies, and people are literally dying and starving on the streets. And meanwhile, these people are like $190 billion worth already, and it's just like, for what? Because you went on TV and made a movie, so you have unlimited amount of money while I'm over here slaving. My back is like disintegrating, and I'm only 33 years old. Like, there's just so many things that are bothering me, and the only way to start is by just putting yourself out there. Like, I'm putting myself out there. If I come off across any type of way, I don't give a beep beep beep. No, I'm playing, but I'm gonna just read some stuff, and it's kind of long, but hopefully somebody will be touched by it, because I can't be the only one out here that feels like this. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. It's like, I don't even know if I'm making any sense. It's crazy, but it sucks having to be in that mind frame where you always have to overthink things, like, and that's because of the neglect and stuff like that growing up, and that's important. And I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things right now, and I think it's important that people get together and talk about different things so people can have different perspectives on top of perspectives. There's depth, there's depth to everything. Nothing is symmetrical. Like common sense laws, like common courtesy, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. But I guess now that I think of it, nobody really even is aware of how they want to be treated, because they're not even using the right part of their brain, because they're thinking, so to speak, the conditioned mind that should easily be interpreted and understood and accessible when one truly wants to put effort into it. And it always being about me, 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 me. And I mean, I was going to say, us, but it's in all reality, let's be honest here. Everything is about the needs and wants when it comes to our devilish, selfish behavior with requirements for ourselves. That of being in control is by far the root of all misinterpreted evil. Its cause and its effects, all of it. integrate itself into our within, our present future existence, our present space of time surrounding us that is ticking constantly faster and faster as time goes on, because we get stuck in this illusion of there being time, a preserver, having to be one with the clock, you know, and the illusion of time itself, preserving its every tick and its every talk, just carefully observing its every move, its every effect on every little hand on that watch. It's just like, you know, you gotta know every little detail. It's just every effect on that hand. And do we then decide to pick and choose to deharmonize or harmonize with others? And criticizing its inevitable impact on the watch clock itself. And this is just, I speak in analogies a lot. I write a lot in analogies because this is my channeling. I channel a lot. It's my spirit guides and, you know, the law of one, Ra, Thoth. Just it's so many. It's so deep. I can't. It's hard to express. But I'll get there eventually. The course that it is running on will potentially die out, and it would need a new outlet and a new battery. You recharge it, you renew it, so it can still tick and talk, never to be broken, but reinforced by the unknown that carries itself across the universe to be presented always on time. To help fix whatever it is that could not fix itself, ourself. Forces of the unexplained universe will always have the ability to reproduce what is no longer there, build to lift and restore what was lost or what is broken. Like, no matter, I know there's time I feel like my depression gets so bad, I feel like there's no saving me. It's like my highs are my highs and my lows are my lows. It's like I'm always critiquing every little thing that's going on in my mind so I can learn how to live a better life for other people. I like to serve other people. I'm a giver. I'm a pleaser. That's what I like to do. So if I can't change them, I have to change me. And that's what it comes down to. You know, let alone every other illusion that we carry in our conscious mind, not being not the creator of these illusions that are well thought out and planned to rip us apart, and very much it's ripped us apart a lot. It's had its power over us for as long as we could picture, and because even our imagination is limited. Going back to my initial point, it's a time frame in which we scurry to adhere something that we may be addressing in life, trying to wrap things up or trying to hurry up and get things done because you have a one-track mind, and it's a self-creating path to never-ending possibilities. It's a never-ending story. So it's a rat race. We're always racing, but because the finish line has no end. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. Why would we wrap things up if the finish line has no end? The delusions of that rat race. We have no end. We have no beginning. We only have the now. The delusions of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing it in the way I have been taught? Am I even doing it right at all? And will I be reprimanded when and if I do succeed? Or have I done it in a way that will be accompanied by society or congratulated with lots of recognition, acknowledgement, acceptance? Well, will you? And who will be on the front lines of your accomplishments, even if you do? Okay, who's going to be there to save you if you so-called fail or fall? Who will be along for the ride? And how will you know if what you're doing is even really truly your position to be attempting in life? All presumably validating questions, however, emotionless and invigorating all at the same time. How did you get here? To where are you now? Mentally. Where are you going? Are you finished? Are you just beginning? And if so, what is the beginning before the beginning? Was that just wasted time down the rabbit hole of nothingness and chaos? Do we not embrace what we know because what we have learned has created this path of knowingness for our dear future that is now, the now in all aspects of time? Or do you throw all of what you have that is within you and us away, sitting on a shelf, so to speak, all collecting dust on our washed up molecules that have no more use in this life at all? Think about it. Are you the lion, the witch, or the wardrobe? Or all of it? All divinely created with processed goods. Don't think of the details, just think of the game. You win some and you lose some. It's deep, magical, and powerful. I feel like this lighting is like terrible. Even though wrong may be considered right and right may be considered wrong, we will never know these man-made acquisitions, these man-made ways of expression through the forms of the words, what the actual meanings behind these phrases may mean. Some of our weak and timid attempts at reliving this soul-fulfilling purpose life here on earth is pathetic. Even after finding our truth, I'm speaking, this is speaking to me, all of this is speaking to me, but I'm sure it will speak to someone else too, hopefully. Even after finding our truth, do we want to drop it, hoping it will get lost in its cluster and relive its illusions of mankind? Can only say this because I've seen and watched you and me grow to then wither away into nothing, to then grow triumphantly, unable to see its own growth, which is frustrating to watch, that tends to keep us stagnant in mind. When unable to overpower our thoughts, ran by our own energies and our outward energies, causing a static fog between our flesh and wind. But if and when our souls, our spirits, decide to outgrow the mind, our bodies cannot grow along with it. Read that again. But if and when our souls and our spirits decide to outgrow the mind, our bodies cannot grow along with it. Ascending masters of our own gates, you know. And usually that means we encounter unwanted people, places, and things in order to find what we are truly worthy of, truly unaware of its unique culture. If the mind does not crave, the mind cannot cave. Mind can cause chaos. I like to call it the hungry ghost. So be brave when your wandering eyes start to linger in the deepest depths of salt, where he or she or it is at in life. Remember, falling without flapping your wings is like knowing the answers to the approach while still staring at a wall and fall. How can we prepare if we don't see the downfall spiral of our own creativity and our own logic that gets twisted up in crosswires? Love thy body, love thyself until you learn how to fly without the thought of how, when, why, or where, and who with, or the insecurities of if I'm strong or wise or weak enough to continue. None of that shit matters. None of it matters, it's just, none of it matters. When telling a story, do you give them the ending before the middle and its beginning? Nobody would even care to read or hear the middle nor its beginning. Its roots, because if you tell them the ending, like if its roots would be sitting like an old tree stump, waiting to be reassessed when the doc has already diagnosed you and left the spotlight that you had full control, attention, and access to. But by his mere full control or examination, did he come with a conclusion because you were too weak and stubborn and stressed to tell him the real problems from the beginning to the end? Not just where you are now, people got to know depths. You can't just meet somebody. This is where this bothers me. People, this is what my pet peeve, okay? I don't know if anyone else has this problem. Please say I. Just because you know my name, just because you hung out with me 2-3 times, you went to school with me, waved at me in the hallway one time, or gave you a ride because you were stranded, or I took you in when you needed something, or whatever the case may be. We've had times where we got drunk together, our friends, family. Just because we hung out a few times doesn't mean you know someone. There is depth in everything. Density is real. Energy is real. And that heavy energy needs to be released and spoke about. People's story needs to be told. People want to be understood. It stresses me out. I want to know the depths of people, and not for any evil intents, only good intents, because I care. I want to help people get through and feel better about themselves. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, that's like the most beautiful thing in the world, is to accept life and for what it is and help each other get through. wanting to share its full wisdom with someone who would appreciate it. If you don't want to hear the story, you will never want to live it either. Stop being lazy. There's something out there that's caught your eye that is most definitely worth chasing. If you can't live for something, you die for nothing. Here's something to think about. Your darkest places inside of you include code names, voices, thoughts, and cries, like repeated numbers in your DNA that just keep reminding you of all of your mistakes and downfalls that aren't even actually downfalls. They're just unwanted downloads to your AI 9000 that you probably just bought and don't want any more junk going in this beast because you've spent plenty of sleepless nights cleaning shit up that other people left behind and just shit that you no longer want or need due to its remarkable killing rate and the unhealthy habits that are hard to unlearn. Again, these are analogies, but you get what I'm saying. When most of the time, sometimes you fail, and when you fail, you leave trails and tracks behind, so you end up following those same jack of all traits right back to the same building you just came from. But this time, you're viewing it from a different perspective. You feel like you're enlightened. You see it again. You see it from a different light. You're enlightened. But that doesn't mean that, it's over. When you're truly enlightened means you truly stop the chaos. And the glass is cleaner than the other side. Little did you know it's the same program, just different equipment, different enlightenment. This light is much better and clearer and brighter for the moment, until if you got to face it, though, it takes time. The light is, nothing can fog your vision. That's what you think. Anyways, I'm messing up what I'm saying, but all you think all troubles and worries are behind you, but you have masked these weapons of mass destruction for so long, it's like you're internally bleeding unknown, unannounced to you. So take your previous so you take your previous Microsoft and plug it into your new and improved user, the motherboard, thinking that the electromagnetic fields and the waves of the electricity interacting like Wi-Fi with all parts of the body and brain while regenerating old data, if any, and of course there is, are any good to you and your software, unaware of its viral infections being transferred to and from the source because you're not properly cleansing. You're just masking the source and the newborn crying babies in the sack. Every day, a new baby is born in your subconscious mind. Thoughts run in and out of your energy source. So no matter what, you're going to have unwanted babies in your closet. Even if you can't birth them on their right paths, constant movement. What was that noise? Even if they seem silent to your ravishing mind, they're eager to come out for the mother's love and comfort, your thoughts, your energy, your emotions, your full-blown attention, and whatever may come of that attention that your brain dead babies seek. Hungry, not even knowing. So I say the hungry ghost. Hungry, not even knowing why or what the cause is, but it's like this thing that's eating at you. It's like you got to perfect this one craft, and because obtainable to it's not obtainable if you're trying to get validation from other people. Okay, and if it's a sickness that you're gonna have to work on and validate yourself, trust yourself. That's just what it is. But see, if you don't feed those craving newborns, they will most likely die and recover from new ones. New boosts of energy, different babies but same tendencies with different offerings that you never know existed. If you don't take a chance for or risk at what is presented to you, give and take. That's life. You birth ideas and thoughts, and you feed and grow the ones you choose. Do we choose the ones that we most desire? Majority? No. From my experience, I haven't really seen anybody that does. I've only been around negativity and like beta personality. Majority, no. But those who do know the power behind those choices, they know how to manifest what it is that the person wants, regardless of where they are at on the map, because they believe in themselves. There is only solitude where this person is, though. When you come from when you're battling the demons in the spirit world is real, man. Like, it's so, and And not everybody has that curse. I call it a curse, man. It's such a curse sometimes. But it's because I was never taught how to manage my gift. And I'm my own guru right now. I'm literally tapping into my super powers, you know? It's so awesome, and it's like, how could I even beat myself up all the time? Don't do that. Don't do it. You're a beautiful soul. Has a beautiful soul, you know? It's just people are need to be more open-minded. That's where choices are hard to. Where was I with this? But those, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Regardless of where he is on the map, there is only solitude where this person is. Solitude is what births knowledge. Access to the cheat codes kind of knowledge. Choices are hard to ignore and a bitch to decide. Which one will best suit your desires that you think you want to gamble with? So make sure you don't have too many eggs in one basket, because you will most likely choose the bad egg. Because remember, if you don't feed some babies, the egg will die, and you never know when you're picking up a fresh one. You know, I'm talking in the sense of like a computer, like working. It works the same thing. Energy, it's all the same thing. Like Wi-Fi, you don't see Wi-Fi. Do you see the Wi-Fi? No, but you know it's there. You know, it's the same thing. Like a radio station, you're channeling, you're turning the stations 107.9 point whatever, and you channel, oh, and you're like, oh my god, dude, that's what that is. And then you get a flush, you get downloads of information just by being curious, just by asking questions. If it's, I mean, I hate the fact that I mean, my mind just drives me nuts. I have things going in my mind. Zoom, 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 zoom. You know, I gotta know everything. I gotta know details. I gotta know how it, you know, I need to know. So I gotta break it down to the science. And if I can't do it, I'm gonna ask a question in my mind, and God's gonna give me the download. You know, He literally will just pop up a video on my phone and be like, and I'll watch the video and I'll understand. Nothing. I don't need to go to school or none of that shit. Like, you literally can tap in to the infinite knowledge. Like, it's so cool. I don't know how to, I don't know how many other people are like that, or if they even understand it. I I haven't been around anybody that understands, except for like one person, but he was toxic, is very toxic. As I was too. You know, I always admit my toxicities. Um, but if nothing else, just never give up. That's the key note here. Just want to release old data and bring in new data, and by doing that is by facing it, by facing your and being honest with yourself about why you are where you're at. Take full responsibility for where you are at. Just because it didn't work before doesn't mean it won't ever work. Just have to be wise enough to know your conditions and mental conditions in order to go for what it is you want. Not saying to use your deeply rooted traumas as a crutch, but to break the genetic codes binding them together. Break the chain reactions with your bloodline. You're not really bounded to them anyways. You may have shared the same blood type, but you don't share the same artificial intelligence. Different cross wires, and you can't overindulge. Being incapable of carrying out your own handlings could be very frustrating. Anyway, once this course starts happening on a consistent basis, things will flow like an untamed spring of fresh water, never to be touched again. It has value to your life. You've worked so hard on this mind trick that you will never, ever, ever sell it again to anyone unworthy of its power. Your artificial code that carries wisdom knows to just ignore the crazy behavior of the crying babies and enjoy the sound of the rebirth. Enjoy the flow of the constant death and rebirth, and the death of and the rebirth. You know, it's a constant battle. Because it will soon or not soon pass regardless. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. It is what it is. And there will be silence once you keep remembering to realign your consciousness, just to keep remembering to remind yourself, like, oh yeah, okay, this is part of the process. I forgot. Trust the process. I forgot. You know, you gotta tune, you gotta tune yourself up every once in a while. Just, it's important. But we neglect ourselves for those essentials. Need I say not what they are? We have spoken about a lot of them already. Let's see if you can keep releasing old and relearning new detachments. Always connected and never attached. Most important rule. Latch on but let go. Don't keep on to your emotions. You got to let them go. Feel them and let them go. Let the nutrients take place, controlling what needs to be fed and nurtured. Trust that you will grow and flourish without the expectation of it. Don't try to imagine the ways of the outcome and attach yourself to the specific ways and thoughts of doing them, but be open for the fun and magical ride. That's a hard thing to do. That's, for me, that's such a hard thing to do. It never stops. It's always going, and sometimes comes back around when we aren't even there to see it. We sometimes leave and go places we never seen, but you can bet your dollar bills it's coming right back, all in the same motion of our own thoughts. We can get off at any point in time and even get rid of old desires if they don't fit in our active lifestyle. Unless you are planning on doing some serious breaking down of the brain and the mind and the psyche to change your acts. But have to be willing to sacrifice your attachments and old habits in order to attain the life you imagined, if you so desire. You want a life full of action and constant movement, then act like you already live that happy-go-lucky action movie with constant passion and desire to keep moving. Stop giving up on yourself. For instance, I want to be an infamous writer, rapper, singer, designer, business owner, entrepreneur, entertainer, psychiatrist, engineer, traveling the world, teaching kids in the third world countries. Who's to say I can't do all that stuff? But I have to sacrifice a lot of stuff in order to get that energy moving, I gotta believe. You have to believe, your life is a reflection of what you believe. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to skip some of this stuff because it's a little, well, I guess I shouldn't, but anyway. I'm just going to skip to this part because I feel like this part's a little important. When you think of those nights of terror because you have fallen and you don't want to get up, you're weak, and you're scared, and you're bruised, and you're broken, and you just remember the first time it happened, the healing process wasn't so bad, and by this time you became numb to it. Oh wait, I should have not skipped that. It's okay. Not everything has to be said, even this is nice. I'm proud of myself for doing this, and you can give yourself compliments. It's okay not to be insecure all the time because mommy and daddy didn't love you and you couldn't suck on their titties. You gotta eventually move past it. So it's like you're either gonna kill yourself or you're not. If you're not gonna kill yourself, work hard on yourself to change your psyche. And I'm talking to myself. This is for me. I'm talking to me. This is so important for me. I can't stress that enough, Crystal Francis Diaz. Get this through your head. You got to start reading your writings out loud so you can be better at your vocaling yourself. You are a great writer, but you don't know how to vocalize yourself in a situation like this because you haven't done it. It's kind of the same thing we're talking about now. You can't just sit around and say you want to do something because you love the idea of doing it. You have to put yourself through it to learn it, to master it. You got to be a master, And just remember the first time it happened, the healing process wasn't so bad. And by this time, you became numb to it. It no longer hurts to rip the bandages off of the freshly pulsating wound. The heart is an offering for one's sins to be broken, redeemed, and rebuilt back to its original form, to like a feather, light. If it's heavy, then God's not gonna let you come home. It's just what it is. The blood of your own tears will quench you when there is no fountain to drink from your own, except what you have, and the rest will be gracefully given back, smooth sailing and soaring. Only a true beast will be able to do this, accompanied by its own devilish path of destruction, but in style and fullness if you're capable of grasping the madness behind it. The motives, the intentions, the spiritual, the supernatural, being the antagonizer and or being antagonized to yourself. This is all you. That is what you want, right? To be fooled by the jewels of life's slumber and only witness on TV like a couple of magic spells. To not be hungry. Not the hunger for fleshly needs, but the hunger that comes from the power you have instilled within your deepest secrets. That lingers like a bat out of hell, preying on the weak and the mundane, unaware that its only competition is its own self. And this is God speaking to me, knowing it's alive but not seeing a way out of imprisonment. Raptures unfold, but not anything like your own. Nothing scares me on this planet that has been created in all of the world but myself. Afraid to unleash the dragon, because if I do unleash it, no one will accept it or know what to do with it in my antagonizing mind. To protect my slaves, myself, my higher selves, my multidimensional selves, from the venom I hold against myself, knowing that if my competition does show face, I will back down, but see nothing in my way, and that frightens me. That frightens me that I'm not scared of anything but myself. Unlocking the gates of hell is something no one has done, and I'm capable of doing it without losing oneself in battle, but yet being in charge, practicing genuinity and practicing me being humble during this whole enlightenment and spiritual awakening, to nurture humanity back to safety. When I have, this is God speaking right here, okay? This is not me. This is God. To nurture, I take no credit for God's work. I promise you that. To nurture humanity back to safety when I, God, have exposed them to dark with the alliance of being acceptable with its laws. The God, the Lord's Lady, the Lord's itself, the King and Queen, the Kundalini, the twin flame, the masculine and the feminine, the one, the law of Ra, the law of one, the savage savior of all of the weak and the lost souls roaming around looking for its faces because they're just so lost, and nobody's talking about the density of the dark matter that and energy that we deal with on a daily basis, because we live in a fairy tale freaking land. People want to live in fairy tale land, the place of lost and found, where someone can gift them back what they have once lost. Return to me, I shall let you live. Return to me, I shall let you be loved. Truest love that has ever existed. And light will still be there, but love and darkness will be of most value. The pain and suffering, knowing our true self and our true nature without denying ourselves of what is considered wrong, our flaws that are shown to be weak and unrealistic, unacceptable, but undeniable to come to pass in our lives every single day. We try to create this fantasy world of what it should be and how it should be lived in this parallel universe, not so much of our own, yes, but in the world we live in now, it is not the way our logical mind should function. We can't keep running away from what's ours, our entanglement with thoughts and realities. It's conflicting with one another. It's misleading. What's ours is ours, and we have to embrace it and accept it and work around it, and is a part of us until further notice. Until then, we must change who we are, which is who we've become when we've lost our way. And some of us, it's something we've always been, due to never having the chance to be aware of anything else other than. Some of us, or a lot of us, particularly people on separate sides of the spectrum mentally, and when that happens, we physically create different paths to different realities for everyone. That's when dimensions come in. It's a thought process. Dimension is not a place. It's a thought. It's a belief system. And when you tap into the higher frequencies, higher belief systems, and not limiting your thought process, that's when you can tap into higher dimensions. It's not a place. It's not a matrix. It's not a place. It's not a earth where you have to find a way to get off this earth and this galaxy because there's no saving it. That's not how that works. Even if two people see the same thing, oh wait, that different paths, different realities. Some consider others to be harder than the next, but in my experience, I consider them both just as equally challenging. Each person has lived a separate meaning for each lesson, and you can't possibly know that specific meaning without the knowledge of that lesson. You have to go through that lesson. Even then, you will never get the whole picture of somebody's mind. Even if two people see the same thing, they never see the same things. So on and so forth. You get the message, I hope. With those thoughts comes sometimes sleepless nights, and with those nights, don't be surprised if they counteract with your days. That's when we find strength to even keep going and trying, questioning your every thought, your every move, like you're playing a game of checkers, but don't even know how to play the game. Not even a clue. When you first play a hand of spades, right? I kind of like this analogy right here. I mean, it's kind of tight. First time ever playing, laying eyes on the deck of cards, and someone coaches you on how to strategize their moves you make and which hands to play with the pressure of how fast you shoot your shot. Don't fall weak to their subliminal mind tricks just because those moves he made worked for him or didn't work for him or her when playing and diving into the game at first hand. But you can't seem to grasp it because what he is saying isn't adding up or showing itself to you when you're looking for those specific moves. You don't see those ones. Is it because you're slow? Is it because you can't seem to pay attention properly? Is it because you can't do it or because you're dumb and weak? The answer is none of those, but, are they ones that you would have related to? Most likely. Yes, I can agree with this 1,000%. God, thank you. Because we are so often beaten and battered with the rules and judgment of others in the game of life that we eventually fall victim to. We fall victim to our own demons that were planted like seeds in the dirt and soil of our fruitful minds. And with a fruitful and replenished mind comes a farmer walking in a little path, wanting to plant stalks in your yard and flocks of dead seeds of good nutrients, seeds that are malnourished, grown out, too premature, prohibited seeds, prophetic seeds that we most often ignore due to its highly powerful energetic properties that produce any and every cell that is formed in our body to create such a beautiful environment such as our own. Such a devouring, destroying, and recreating seed for Earth's evolution, the universe within us, is intimidating. How could someone like me be so worthy of that kind of power? A mastermind, perfect with all of nature's inexplainable genetic forces, with its deeply rooted genetics that are written in the unknown, the place of birth, the place that is not ever going to be studied, heard, or talked about because the void will always be untouched by the human race, let alone see it. You can feel it, you can plug into it, the source of the universe by sitting in silence, but it's not your average understanding of silence. It's a much more deeply rooted equation that must be uncomfortably figured out, comprehensive from the inside out, from the mind, body, and soul. And the body and the soul and the mind must be broken down into individual fragments, equally spaced and separated by their properties, to first understand what the darkness is all about. Only then, in the darkness, where it's scary, gets dark, the true knowledge of dark can someone eventually start searching for the light at the end of the tunnel. But, you will come to realize that the light that you seek, not only is it unattainable, it does not exist. You simply exist. You are the light. The end has no ending. And just when you may think you have gathered up all the answers in your workshop of ticking thoughts, cracking codes, understanding the laws of physics, and truly not trusting the core of its knowledgeable existence, because mankind cannot be trusted with such nobility and their well justified expertise behind the notions. Because how can one put limitations on something that has no limits? It's just the limited time they've spent trying to figure out the unanswered wonders of the earth and its existence. The answers that they have allowed us to have access to has limited our way of thinking. Scientists have no idea how gravity and quantum entanglement and physics can be connected without it defying the laws of the universe. Come on. But can build a space shuttle that soul-handedly goes out of our dimension, out of our, not dimension, but out of our quantum field into another quantum field, then back inside ours, and not even think twice about it, but expect us to believe they don't know how the universe is expanding or even was created. There's a lot more going on. It takes time and a dedicated obsession to explore these thoughts, which I have, and that's why I suffer every single day of my life, because of I do this. It's a curse but a blessing. I get the answers, and I'm so much further, and I'm just hoping that I can make it. I hope I make it out alive. That's just being real. They must know that there is no laws. First of all, what do the laws of the universe even mean to most people? Where did they get that term? They must know that there is no laws within those laws. Laws are just laws that present themselves when something cannot be understood. Let's put a caution tape, there, just so we can pretend it doesn't work, because I don't have, the formula to ignite that mission alone. Science can lead you to the water, but you can't drink the water. Like, that's only God. Only God can feed you the water. Science leads you there, but only God can. You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy deep, bro. I'm out of here. I'm done talking.